I told you, we don't serve beggars here. The plate hit the floor with a crash, scattering hot food across the tiles. Clara didn't move. She stepped in front of the trembling old man, shielding him like her apron could block his humiliation. Rain hammered against the diner windows. The few customers left pretended not to see. Clara's voice was steady. Then taking out my tips. Her boss didn't blink. You're fired. Get out. That was how 6 years of loyalty ended, in one sentence. But that night would echo across the nation before the week was done. Clara James wasn't the kind of woman anyone noticed. 32, quiet, dependable. She opened Billy's diner before dawn and closed it long after everyone else went home. Her brown apron was like armor, her ponytail tied tight enough to hold the world together. In Ridgefield, Kentucky, a town where factories had closed and hope felt thin, people like Clara survived by being invisible. Her world was small, a cracked window apartment, a one-eyed cat named Smokey, and a shoebox under a bed filled with her grandfather's war medals. Henry James had raised her, a Korean War veteran who believed honor was something quiet. Do what's right, he'd say, even when no one claps. When he died 3 years ago, Clara didn't cry at the funeral. She just stood tall like he taught her. Now, she worked double shifts to stay afloat. Her roommate had skipped out, bills were overdue, and her savings had shrunk to $64.38. Her new room above an auto garage barely had working electricity, but she still got up every morning, walked through the rain, and smiled at strangers who barely looked at her. She never complained, never asked for help, but she noticed everything. Bruises on the dishwasher's arms, the loneliness in Regular's eyes, the people who came in from the rain asking only for water. Her life was made of small kindnesses no one saw. Until one Tuesday night, the door creaked open. A gust of wind swept through. A soaked, trembling man limped inside, his coat heavy with rain. The faded army insignia on his sleeve barely clung to the fabric. His beard was gray, his hands scarred, his eyes cautious, as if asking permission just to stand there. Most people looked away. Clara didn't. She wiped her hands on her apron and approached him gently. "Evening, sir. Can I get you something warm?" The man hesitated. "Just a cup of hot water, ma'am. Maybe a crust of bread headed for the trash." Clara's heart tightened. She'd heard those same words in her grandfather's stories, from nights in Korea when strangers had shown him mercy. Without a word, she went to the kitchen. A plate of untouched chicken and dumplings sat under the heat lamp. She added extra bread, poured a hot coffee, and carried it over. "This was sent back just now," she said softly. "Still warm." The man stared at the tray. "I can't pay." "It's already paid for," she smiled. "And the coffee's on me." His voice trembled. "You remind me of my wife. She used to say everyone deserves warmth, especially those who've known the cold." Clara blinked back tears. He ate slowly, reverently, as if each bite weighed 1,000 memories. When he finished, he whispered, "You just saved a soul tonight. Might have been broken, but not forgotten." Then he pulled something from his coat, a worn military dog tag. "My name's Eli Turner. If I don't make it through this winter, I want someone to know I existed." He pressed it into her hand, then limped out into the storm. Clara stood there frozen, the tag warm in her palm. The bell over the door slammed open. "What the hell do you think you're doing?" Wayne Becker, the diner's owner, stood in the doorway, face red with rage. Clara met his glare. He was a veteran. "I gave him food that was going to be thrown away. This ain't a charity." Wayne barked. "You just made me look soft. You're fired." The diner fell silent. No one defended her. No one even met her eyes. Clara untied her apron, set it down, and walked out into the pouring rain. Her shoes soaked instantly. Her body shook, but her back stayed straight. In the alley, the veteran appeared again, limping toward her. "I saw what happened," he rasped. "You shouldn't have paid the price for me." She shook her head. "You didn't do anything wrong." He pressed the dog tag into her hand again. "You reminded me I wasn't invisible." And then he was gone. That night, Clara sat in her tiny room, Smokey curled against her hip. Her phone showed $42 left in her account. Rent due in 10 days. No job, no plan, but she had courage and a dog tag clutched in her hand. She whispered, "We're still okay." She didn't know the world had just seen her. Someone in the diner had filmed the entire moment. By morning, the video spread online. Clara defending the veteran, the owner shouting, her quiet dignity cutting through the noise. But the internet wasn't kind. Rules are rules. She should have asked permission. Probably not her first time giving food away. Her co-workers unfriended her. No diner would hire her. "We can't risk the attention," one manager said. By sundown, Clara wandered the wet streets. She passed a bus stop, and there was Eli curled beneath a plastic sheet, shivering. She knelt beside him, placed half a sandwich wrapped in paper next to him, and whispered, "Thank you for remembering me." Then she turned and walked away, unaware that a black military SUV had stopped at the corner, and a man in uniform inside was watching her leave. The rain stopped just before dawn. Ridgefield woke to a strange silence. At exactly 6:45 a.m., black SUVs rolled into Main Street. Dozens of them. Soldiers stepped out one by one, in full uniform, forming a line in front of Billy's diner. The first man to enter wore a sharply pressed army uniform. His chest bore medals. His eyes carried the weight of command. "I'd like to speak to the owner," he said. Wayne Becker looked up from behind the counter, stunned. I'm the owner." The officer removed his cap. "Colonel Matthew Turner, son of Eli Turner." The diner froze. "My father, the man you humiliated yesterday, is the reason I'm alive." The room went silent. In 2007, during my third deployment in Iraq, our convoy was ambushed. My transport was hit. 12 of us trapped. Your beggar carried me 3 miles under enemy fire, shrapnel in his leg. He refused treatment until we were all safe. He held up a laminated Silver Star citation. This was his. Wayne's face drained of color. "He vanished years ago," Turner said, voice trembling. "PTSD took him. We searched for months. And now we find him here, fed not by the system, not by this town, but by a waitress you fired." Outside, the crowd had gathered. Phones recorded every word. A young soldier stepped forward with a small black case. Inside was the Silver Star Eli had once pawned to feed a homeless family. "Bring her here," Colonel Turner said. Clara didn't understand at first when reporters pounded on her door. "Colonel Turner's asking for you." The streets filled with soldiers. One gasped. When Clara reached the diner, the line of soldiers parted. 200 uniforms stood at attention, saluting her. A waitress. Clara froze. Tears welled in her eyes. Colonel Turner stepped forward and placed a medal in her hands. "My father wanted you to have this." She shook her head. "I can't. It's not mine." "It is now," he said quietly. The diner closed the next day. Wayne Becker disappeared from town. Veterans groups picketed his door. Clara didn't celebrate. She didn't post online. Instead, she accepted a job offer from a veteran nonprofit, managing a new community kitchen. There, soldiers peeled potatoes beside single mothers. High schoolers served soup next to retired nurses. Smokey slept on the windowsill, like he'd finally found peace. And in her office, a small wooden box sat on the shelf. A folded flag, a silver star, and a tarnished dog tag she never stopped carrying. One afternoon, a boy walked in no older than 8. He held a dollar bill and a cookie wrapped in string. "I saw you in the video," he said. "My grandpa was a soldier, too. He helped people. I want to help, too." He placed a cookie and dollar on the counter. Clara knelt beside him. "Can I use this to help someone else?" he asked. She couldn't speak. She just placed her hand over her heart, the same way 200 soldiers had saluted her, and nodded. Eli Turner now lived at a VA center, finally safe. His son visited often. When Clara came by, they didn't say much. They didn't need to. Some nights, she'd hold his dog tag, whispering the words her grandfather once said. "Honor isn't loud. It's quiet." The diner where she once worked now sat dark and empty. But across town, her kitchen glowed with warmth and laughter. Proof that one quiet act of courage can light an entire town. Clara James didn't march or protest. She simply fed a hungry man and reminded everyone what real dignity looks like when no one's watching. Because not all heroes wear uniforms. Some just wear aprons